Thank you, Mr. President. So I did talk quite a bit about this resolution today, but I'm really standing up to say thank you to all my colleagues. Because this resolution grows out of weeks and weeks of budget hearings where we sat and we listened to the people of New York State and we heard what they were telling us and what we needed to do for them. And then weeks and weeks of work with my chairs and with working groups and with the staff trying to fine-tune what was realistic that we could do, what was aspirational that we might not accomplish in year one, but that we needed to shift the focus of how we were spending our money in New York State. And so I am incredibly proud of this piece of work, which is the beginning bell for three-way negotiations for a final budget, but is also a reflection of the goals and the hopes and the dreams of 20 million New Yorkers who tried to contact us to let us know what they needed. And I've also been here for 20 years now, Mr. President, and I watched when I came in and George Pataki was the governor, and we would have budgets that we couldn't possibly afford, but the Republicans had a philosophy of borrow and spend, borrow and spend. And then Democrats came back into power, and we were accused of taxing and spending. But if you tax and spend, at least you're paying for what you're buying, as opposed to leaving it to the next generation. So I don't mind when they tell me I'm a tax and spend Democrat, because I'd rather tax and pay for it than borrow and leave it to the next generations to deal with it. And then we ended up in periods where we just had borrowed so much from previous years that we had to reduce our budgets to levels that were really unsustainable to meet the needs of New Yorkers. So it does appear to be big jumps this year, but I'm telling you, we have the money to do it, and we're not stealing from our reserves. We're actually increasing our reserves at the same time as we are increasing our spending, and we're cutting taxes, as was discussed on the floor today, property taxes, income taxes, gas taxes, while we're making investments in the people of New York who need our help the most. And you know what, Mr. President? That will be returned to us tenfold by a future that New York can be proud of, a future that your beautiful daughters can participate in as they grow up to be adults and become taxpayers in our society, and a state where people will want to come and stay and start business and do businesses. So I'm very proud of what this resolution represents, and I am so honored that our leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, gave me the position of finance chair so that I could try to work to pull it all together for all of us. Thank you, Mr. President.